For the past 30 years, it's been the top 3 TCGs, Magic, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh! But there's a new era of TCGs making waves. I want to collect data on exactly how well these new games were performing, but I was surprised by how far Yu-Gi-Oh! Has fallen. I live in the DMV area, so I wanted to collect data on what games are being played in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. I'm missing a few game stores. Some game stores, they don't have their events listed online or I haven't called them. But this is probably 90-95% of the game stores in the DMV area. Disclaimers, it could be that certain TCGs are just more prevalent in the DMV area or they're less prevalent, just based on the demographic of who lives here. Secondly, I don't have data on number of attendees or number of events that are run per LGS. So for example, maybe one event has 100 people at it, or they might be hosting One Piece 3 nights or 5 nights out of their week. So in my data set, it's do they run the game or do they not run the game? I'm going to list off the top most played TCGs. Number 1 is Magic the Gathering. I have 145 game stores for Magic. This probably isn't surprising. Magic the Gathering is the genesis of all of the trading card games. Actually, this number could be even more. So there's 40 GameStops that I didn't include in the data. I believe GameStop now hosts Commander events, and they might also host a couple of One Piece events. I'm not too positive. If you want to add GameStops in there, that'd be 40 more events. So that'd bring you to 185, but we'll just stick with the 145 number for now. Number 2 is 110 stores for Pokemon. Also not surprising, Pokemon has been around forever. What I did find was interesting is there's a lot of, I would say, like sports / Pokemon, probably who are very interested in the card show space. So it seems, just speculatively that these stores are looking for Pokemon distribution access, not as focused on the player-based community or expanding into other TCGs. So here's where it gets a little spicy. Number 3 is actually 88 stores for Riftbound. Riftbound is actually a newer kid on the block. It's a little bit over 9 months old at this time. However, they did hit the ground running. They did partner with UVS Games, which runs Universus, and they had a network of local game stores running their game already. I find Riftbound is in a very interesting position. They can build this esports X cards aspect. What I mean by that is League of Legends has an esports system. So for example, they have a new signature Faker card coming out. It's part trading card, think Pokemon, and part sports card with professional athletes. So I think when the Faker card comes out, it's going to go wild and it's going to be a highly sought after card. Number 4 is One Piece with 87 stores. This is super close to Riftbound. I think One Piece could actually be higher. I talked to a few store owners and they said they want to have One Piece, but they haven't been given the opportunity from Bandai yet. One Piece is also the second most graded TCG behind Pokemon. I think One Piece is at like 5%, but the next largest category is Magic the Gathering at 1%. Okay, for number 5, you might think it's Yu-Gi-Oh!, but it's not. There's 74 stores for Lorcana. I think where Lorcana does a better job than the previously mentioned games, is that they have support for children. I see that there are kid-friendly locals. Also, it seems that children can attend major events. If an adult has a Lorcana Challengers ticket, they can bring their kid for free, and they can participate in events and side events. Number 6 is still not Yu-Gi-Oh! It's Gundam with 62 game stores. I don't know too much about the Gundam scene, but the art looks great. And I believe with the card game and with the new Gunplug game that Bandai's come out with, Gundam is now Bandai's highest grossing IP. To be fair, Bandai, I believe, owns all of Gundam, so they're definitely incentivized to promote this product. There's also this situation where I see some stores have Gundam but not One Piece. Some people are trying to enter into the Bandai network by hosting Gundam first, and then they get access to One Piece at a later point in time. Number 7 is Yu-Gi-Oh! with 42 stores. At 42 stores, it's half of Riftbound or half of One Piece. There was a bunch of buzz about local game stores dropping Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't play modern Yu-Gi-Oh!, but from what I've heard, a lot of the sealed product has been going under MSRP immediately. If a store buys boxes from distribution for $60, after a few weeks or a month, then the boxes are selling for less than that, maybe $50. Every box that a local game store sells, they're losing money. It does seem that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is trying to turn around. There's been announcements of new prize support. There's the overframe cards, and they have printed Yugi on the booster packs. But Yugi hasn't been on a booster pack for several years. Now he's back. It seems like Konami is trying to figure out how to get players back into Yu-Gi-Oh! And here is a graph that you can see all of the games. So if you want to pause and see where your TCG is in the DMV area, you can take a look here. Let me know in the comments how your scene is doing. Do you have a strong Yu-Gi-Oh scene? What's your opinion? Thanks.